put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning and welcome back to Youth Wednesdays on Tobago Updates Morning Show. You're viewing us here live in Portmore, Scarborough, Tobago. This is Youth Wednesdays, and yes, we are here yet again to celebrate. I could say celebrate. Yet another Youth Wednesdays here on Tobago Updates. We are here to bring you the youthful vibe, the youthful vigor, smack center in the middle of your week. The week is not wet, so it's not wet Wednesdays this morning. It's dry Wednesdays this morning. And this morning, my name is Dwayne Nurse, one of your favorite youth hosts, ably supported and joined by...
Good morning, Julie St. John, your other favorite Youth Wednesday host.
Yes. How was your week?
My week so far has been good.
Yeah,
a little less hectic than usual.
Well, that's very good to hear. It would be remiss of me if we don't, give special good morning to all our ardent viewers, wherever you're viewing us on your screens all over the world, all over the region, all over Tobago, all over Trinidad. A special good morning to you. We're here to share the live, and while you are sharing the live, we have a lot upcoming for you this morning, a lot special Tobago centric stuff for you this morning. So stay tuned. We have news, we have interviews, very fun interviews,
a lot in store.
And for those of you who are having a bad week, I know when you saw us on the screen this morning, you're all smiles.
Yeah,
right?
A midweek refresher.
Yeah, we just need the top up, right? But guys, we're gonna go straight over to news in 90 seconds with Miss St. John.
Good morning. Your news in 90 seconds starts now for Wednesday, April 22nd. Tobago-based airport employee Natasha Charles had secured a significant legal win against the airport authority. High Court Justice Joan Charles ruled yesterday that the authority breached the rules of natural justice by suspending Ms. Charles and conducting investigations without giving her a fair chance to respond. The court has ordered that her suspension be squashed, all investigations must cease immediately, and the matter be expunged from her employment record. Represented by Martin George and Company, the ruling reinforces that procedural fairness is non-negotiable for administrative bodies. It's an early day for students across Tobago and Trinidad. Schools are being dismissed early today, Wednesday, April 22nd, to facilitate the tutor staff representative elections. Teachers will be casting their votes and attending meetings to finalize results. Parents are urged to make the necessary arrangements for their children's pickup, as most institutions are closing their doors by midday to allow for the democratic process within the teaching fraternity. Finally, Rand Credit Union 2026 Annual General Meeting is scheduled for this Saturday, April 25th at 1 p.m. This will be a hybrid meeting. Tobago members can attend in person at the Shaw Park complex, while the host location remains in Trinidad. For those preferring to stay home, the meeting will also be accessible via Zoom. Check your official RAND communications for registration details. That was your news in 90 seconds. Join us again at 6:30 p.m. for our full newscast.
All right. Thank you, Miss Julie, for news in 90 seconds. We have a lot that is happening in this space.
Yes.
Too much negative stuff, but I want to focus on the positive this morning. I don't know what you think about that.
Yeah, I think it's a good point to start on.
One of the most prominent news in this space is the Airports Authority media release indicating a change in the domestic launch to more all the international gate. Now, if you are like me, who like cologne, right, it means that you would have access to some of these things. I think I also saw that there in their release. But for me, it also begs the question: what are you going to do with that whole big space downstairs?
Probably renovations.
Well,
We are yet to see.
If I was them, I would have put some hotel. I don't know. Rest. I don't know. I don't know. But you know, it's a welcome change. Some people kind of have some mixed feelings about it. You know, some of the questions I saw online were whether or not the strict you know, security criteria will be now transferred to domestic persons traveling, because you know domestic and international flights have different
procedures.
Yeah, so I don't know. I hope not, because I don't want to take off my shoes all the time. Oh gosh, and take off your belt all the time.
And another concern might have been the crowd with both international and domestic passengers passing through the same security point, but that has been rectified and systems have been put in place so that, you know, the crowd isn't as much, it isn't as concentrated, there wouldn't be a bottleneck.
You traveled recently?
Not recently, but I paid attention.
But yeah, that is a welcome feat. You know, if it brings greater efficiency, fine. I also think it's a smart move for the airport's authority to make some more money by giving patrons or travelers access
to the facilities.
It's a more long-term kind of thing, turnover for those concessionaires, right? But guys, a lot happening in this space. We also saw, unfortunately though, the breach in security in one of the municipal police stations in Trinidad. It raises a lot of concern about our security as it pertains to policing and so on, and its buildings. I also heard that it was an inside job. These perpetrators were apprehended and so on. It kind of also is an opportunity though for the police service and the government to kind of up their ante on the, you know, the security that they place on these buildings, these organizations and so on. So it's a good opportunity, I think. Biometrics is a prominent thing now, you know, so put some biometrics and I think we will have a safer, you know, society in terms of these buildings. But guys, we're gonna go straight over to our news in 90 seconds. Birthdays. Sorry, you did the news so well. We gotta do it again. Right. First, who do we have first?
We have Mr. Siobhan Rawlings, better known as Redo. We want to wish you a happy birthday coming from the Tobago Updates team. We hope that you enjoy your day.
All right. Happy birthday to you, my brother. Next, we have Mr. Keston Tony. A happy birthday goes out to you. Hear from us on Youth Wednesdays and the wider Tobago Updates family.
After him, we have Mr. Omar Glass. From the Tobago Updates family, we want to wish you, or Mr. Glaze, sorry, I'm being corrected. We want to wish you a happy birthday, and we hope that you not just only enjoy this special day, but many years to come.
We have Miss Sophie
Guillaume.
Oh, thank you so much for that. Right? Thank you so much. Happy birthday goes out to you. Hear from us on Youth Wednesdays and the wider Tobago Updates family.
And this last one seems to be a big birthday to Miss Nelda Moore. We want to wish you, not just from the Tobago Updates family, a happy birthday, but also from William, from Wendell, and the whole family, your brothers, your sister, your nieces, and your nephews. We have a lot of persons rallying behind you this morning to wish you a happy birthday. We hope that you lived a prosperous life thus far and you have many more years of blessings to come ahead.
Yes, and before we go over to the next birthday, I think it would be remiss of me if I don't chime in as well. Without this person, I doubt Tobago Updates would have been a thing. Yeah, so we are grateful for, you know, your biggest input in your sons in ensuring that this dream becomes a reality and helping to put Tobago on the map. And next we have well, that's it.
Yes.
Just family photos rolling now.
Yes.
Yeah. That's good. So for all of birthday celebrants this morning, we want to wish you a happy birthday again. And for those of you who did not make it on our list this morning, don't feel anyhow. We still want to wish you a happy birthday, and you know, feel free to pass by and with the confetti and the balloon and the cake and the ice cream.
Celebrate with us.
Celebrate with us, and you know, could always send in your names prior to us coming here on mornings. You could also look out for Youth Wednesdays as well.
Yeah.
So happy birthday to all our birthday celebrants, and have a great day. Quite a lot there. But we have also more for you guys this morning. The rundown. What do we have on the rundown this morning?
I believe we'll be joined by some personnel from the Division of Environment, Climate Resilience and Energy, speaking about the anniversary of the Mainridge Forest Reserve and activities that they have planned, as well as Brother Paulos. He's an evangelist of the Archdiocese of the Caribbean and Latin America of the Ethiopian Orthodox Church. So we have diverse conversations in store this morning.
You know, and we appreciate those of you who are joining us and just joining us. For those of you just joining us though, this is Youth Wednesdays. This is Dwayne and Jolie St. John. But just remember to
share the live, share the live, share the live.
Trinidad is my home, and I always say charity begins at home. So I'm just delighted to bring this team of dedicated volunteers. Part of our motto is that we just don't send relief. We hand deliver it with care and compassion. And as I would always tell my team, the best way to find oneself is to lose oneself in the service of others.
Be viewing Caribbean Medical TV on this station.
Sofa Factory is here in Tobago. Conveniently located Montessori Drive, Glen Road, Scarborough. Up to 20% off on select sofas for customization. Deals on some sofas from as low as $4,000 until stocks last. 10% off on all wardrobes. Half off on shower heads with the purchase of a vanity set. Come in and experience the new way to shop for furniture and see the quality in person.
Welcome to Tobago Glass Supplies Limited, where innovation meets excellence and service reigns supreme. Our commitment is simple: to provide high-quality, innovative aluminum, vinyl and glass solutions for both commercial and residential spaces. At TGSL, we don't just meet needs, we exceed expectations. Our range includes the finest aluminum cladding options, setting new standards in durability and style. Driven by our passion to elevate, we aim to be the leading supplier in the Caribbean market while retaining our identity as a family-owned business. Because at Tobago Glass Supplies Limited, it's not just about products. It's about relationships, it's about you. Innovation, quality, service. That's Tobago Glass Supplies Limited.
Okay. 335, 336, 337, 338, 339.
Counting on your fingers again. No wonder you lose your business.
Grandpa, thanks for helping me start over.
You not lucky in business, you know. As a child, you tried to sell hog plum. That failed. As a teenager, you and your boyfriend tried to break into the jewelry business. But hey, where that boy end up?
He live in Aruka in the Grove. The golden one.
Oh, child, if you want to get into business, you have to have your financial records intact. But do you know your numbers?
Of course, 624 333.
No, child, your numbers, your ratios, your equity ratios. You have a financial handicap.
What?
You need to see somebody about that. Anderson.
Who?
Anderson in Trinidad and Tobago, they offer tax and accounting services. They know about financial management.
Grandpa, I started this business with nothing.
And nothing is what you will end up with unless you call Anderson Services. Here.
Okay, this card is nice.
Yeah.
What's this?
Your rental fee. Have business will pay rent. Hot and groovy in the soca party.
This is how it's gonna go. They better look up below, 'cause this is your show, and everybody's gonna know. Say it to them once again. They better look up below. This is your show, and everybody's gonna know. That's how it's gonna go. They better look up below, 'cause this is your show.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning and welcome back to Youth Wednesdays on Tobago Updates Morning Show. You're viewing Stay Alive in Portmore, Scarborough, Tobago. My name is Dwayne Nussey, one of your favorite youth hosts, of course. And this morning we're going to take the discussion about Tobago, about its oldest rainforest reserve. 250 years is quite a long time. We are, in fact, one of the oldest rainforest reserves in the Western Hemisphere. I stand to be corrected, but I know I'm correct this morning. To foster this discussion, we are speaking with persons coming from the Division of the Environment, Climate Change, Resilience and Energy. And one of the new divisions just newly minted in the Tobago House of Assembly. Barry Lovelace, the Director of Marine Resources, is here to speak with us. And Miss Kelly Manet Cameo, General Manager of the Reforestation and Watershed Rehabilitation and Committee Member, right, for the main 250 anniversary celebrations. Good morning and welcome to you guys.
Good morning, and thank you for having us.
It's always a pleasure to have you guys here speaking about one of Tobago's greatest treasure, which is the main ridge forest. Right? But before we delve into that, we want to ask Mr. Lovelace and your good self, Mrs. Kajo, to just tell us what you guys do, at the division. What are your role and function, etc.
I go first? Okay. Well, good morning to all of Tobago and wherever you're viewing in the world. Yes. Right? Now, my role and function at the newly minted department is to lead a newly minted division, the division of the marine resources under the new division, which is, you just call the name there. We're still getting accustomed to it, right? The Division of Environment, Climate Resilience and Energy, right? And well, it's an exciting time. We are now building out, in terms of organizational structure and all of these kind of things. So it's quite a process, right? But it's an exciting time.
Yeah.
All right. So my name is Kelly Manet Cameo. I am the General Manager of the Tobago Reforestation and Watershed Rehabilitation Program. And we are also part of that newly minted division, the Division of the Environment, Climate Resilience and Energy. And we are working alongside the various departments to not only execute our mandate of reforestation and watershed management, but also to bring awareness and raise the knowledge level of the resources that we do have here in terms of our forests, our trees, and the biodiversity in Tobago.
Right, right. You know, the Mainridge Forest was established in 1776,
Yes.
right? You know, what makes this so significant, right, that we have to have this celebration? And is this the first time we are celebrating?
Well, it's the first time we are celebrating in this way, right? 1776, think about it. Is that year familiar to you? That's the same. In fact, the United...
I think I was born in that year. I'm not sure.
I wouldn't doubt it.
I don't look it, but yeah.
But that year, 1776, is the same year America got its independence. In fact, a couple months after this law was established. So this is actually older than the United States of America, right? So you see, and so when we talk about environmental law, this is about the first you can find. Right, especially as it regarding the conservation of forests and so on. So some most say the oldest in the Western Hemisphere. I put my neck out a little bit and I say in the world.
In the world.
But maybe somewhere in China or somewhere, you know, there might be one that would have been, you know, but until then, until I know about it, I would say the world.
Yeah.
Right, and what it does for Tobago too, in terms of environmental law and conservation, it places Tobago at the helm of international conservation law, right? So it's something rather, you know, worthy of celebrating. It's not every time we get an opportunity to celebrate something 250 years old. It's not 251, not 249, 250. I guess the next time we'll make such a big deal of this is probably 50 years from now, which I'll talk about in a little bit. What we have planned for that, because we're planning for that too.
Wow, it's a successive planning, man.
Yeah.
That is very good. You know, Tobago, the rainforest has, you know, been talked so many years. It has been, you know, we have protected it, right? We, you know, it's one of the speaking points, and even one of the products as we from here from Tobago tout as our tourism product. It's one of our main attractions on the island. You know, is this something that, you know, the division hopes to maintain? In, you know, I know you guys came in to talk about your celebrations and so on.
Well, I could say on that, because one of our main partners who we began planning early, well, in the early parts of planning, we were on board, is TTAL, right? And they are making a big deal of it as well. Now, I should say, well, I'm sure Kelly would very soon spread out the week of activities we have planned next week. That week of activities is the beginning of the celebration, right? Because we're planning to do this celebration for the entire year, from 30th of April, and mind you, that's the date, the actual date, the anniversary date, 30th of April 2026 to 30th of April 2027. And so you'll hear about many more things as relating to celebration of our main ridge forest. We call it our green heritage, Tobago Green Heritage 250, right? Indeed, right? So you'll be hearing much more about what is planned, and the populace, you know, would have ample opportunities to get involved, to visit the rainforest, organize with groups for the young people. Schools, we're talking towards having a junior ranger program going, right? And that should be something exciting to do. And well, many things. But you'll have us back, I'm sure, to detail all of those things, right?
You know, I just want to throw that question to either of you. Given the age of this thing and how important the main ridge is, have we been doing very well in, you know, its maintenance, you know, making sure that it is well protected, because it's one of the protected areas on the island.
Kelly will tell you about that.
Tell us about that.
Well, in terms of the protection of the main ridge, the Department of Forestry has been doing a tremendous job in terms of managing and maintaining. However, I would also say that a lot needs to be done from our communities and the regular person that passes through and utilizes these resources to ensure that we assist the forestry and the various entities in the managing of it, and also to conserve it a little more, to be very mindful that we are the stewards of our resources. We are the stewards of the Main Ridge Forest Reserve, and it would be helpful when we have activities, the Main Ridge cleanup that was done on the 19th of March, that we have more community involvement. Of course, we have to get the information across as well, but to develop more stewardship for our Main Ridge Forest Reserve and that commitment from Tobago and our natives.
All right. So we have a week long of activities. You want to delve into that, because I'm seeing Monday, 27th of April, opening ceremony, judging of schools. So schools are involved in this thing?
Yep.
Since when? You know, I mean,
give him the rundown.
I haven't been in school for for a long time, but you know, I thought that these are things of the past. Schools not interested in these things anymore. But tell us about this.
So we are starting off with a bang on Monday the 27th of April at 9 a.m. We have the mural judging and the opening ceremony for the Green Heritage 250-year celebrations. And this will take place up at the Main Ridge Forest Reserve, the Visitor Center. We have secondary schools that would have participated in the mural competition. So the winners will be awarded on that day, in addition to the opening of our celebrations coming up. Following that, we have on Tuesday the 28th of April at 9 a.m. we have the historical reenactment of the designation of the Main Ridge Forest Reserve as a protected area, and that would take place at the Assembly Legislature in Scarborough.
Yes.
So
will there be a debate or something?
Yeah. Well, that's an interesting one. It's a dramatic reenactment, drama, theatrical, happening in the THA legislature, that house, right? They'll be depicting the House of Commons back in 1779 when Swami Jennings, he was the parliamentarian at the time. He was also on the board responsible for the plantations in the colonies, including Tobago. He never set foot in Tobago, right? But he had this friend who at that time, well, in 1776, he already passed. But this friend named Stephen Hales, well, I looked him up. He was responsible for a whole lot of different inventions and so on. But what he's most recognized for is his work in plants and discovering transpiration, that plants actually sweat and they're part of the water cycle and they attract rains and so on. So having this friendship with him, he was able to convince his friend, Mr. Jennings, of the virtue of conserving the woodlands of Tobago for the sake of sugar plantation. Now, I keep saying, well, it's not for any love of environment really, but
the trade of the day.
Exactly, or for the people of Tobago or anything like that. But that's the spirit in which he argued for 11 years to have that done, right? And just in the context of this year, because I mentioned Swami Jennings, right? But while we were planning, Kelly, we came up with the thought came to us, well, I wonder if the family is still around and would like to be involved in all of this. And we reached out to them. We were just here Friday, and I mentioned it. We reached out to them. Mr. Henry would have drafted a letter and he sent Mr. Swami. I'm so excited. I want to say everything in one breath.
But you take your time, man. We here whole morning.
No, we're not here whole morning. But anyway, he didn't have any children, Swami, right? So you were wondering, well, how would that work out, thing. But what we understood, a cousin, the property that he was living, he would have passed it on to a cousin of his, right? So we said, well, let's send a correspondent to that address. Let's see what happened. And we did get a response. It's from I think it was a great-great-grand of his cousin, George Jennings. And he sent us a nice letter and said they're willing to, contribute in whichever way. So we have that communication with them. And, well, we've seen how much we can have them involved for this week. right? And of course, beyond the 30th, you'll hear much more, I'm sure, from the family of
this is
Swami
exciting
Jennings.
stuff. This is really exciting stuff. You know, we are noting a lot of good things, you know, in birthing this thing for Tobago. This is really good.
Mind you, another thing that came to mind that I should mention in this context, for a very long time, we've been saying the 13th of April as the date, right? But is by going through this process of planning and researching, you know, we actually would have gone to...
you all found a new date.
Yes, yes, and realized what is scripted on the ordinance is actually the 30th. Is the effective date. Of course, they would have been debating before and certain things happened before, but the actual effective date is the 30th. And so this year is one of setting the record straight. Even on Wikipedia, it says the 13th. Anywhere you go online, you see the 13th as the date. But we are setting the record straight here.
Very good stuff.
You know,
this is momentous.
Yes.
You know, this is momentous in our history. And I think it's very good that we are celebrating, you know, this, what I would say, marquee event. Right? And I hope it's not just a one-off event or a series of events. I think it's something that would attract persons from all over the globe to come and celebrate with us.
In fact, going forward annually, the 30th of April is Main Ridge Forest Day. That's all. That's what it's called. Yes, that's what was declared by the legislature some weeks ago.
That's really good. So continuing with some of our celebration, I'm seeing on Wednesday the 29th a bird banding exhibition and guide tour. All the banding birds from the all the chasing them.
So not banning, but banding.
Oh, that's a play on words there. Oh gosh, I catch me.
So we are working with one of our partners, that's the TTBO, and that session would involve bird banding, which would basically be an exhibition of one of our research techniques to gather information on the bird species that inhabit the Main Ridge Forest.
And just for our viewership and our young people, how many species of bird do we have on island?
Well, I believe we have over 200 species of birds.
I think it's 216.
Yes, in Main Ridge Forest Reserve.
You know, I'm an environmental science student. Miss Budram, I don't know if you know Miss Budram. Miss was my sixth form teacher.
So I'm hoping you will join us on that day because Miss Budram is going to be one of the persons heading that bird banding
I have to put it on my calendar to make sure that I'm there. In fact, I don't know what Tobago Updates will do, you know, will send me there and, you know, provide transport and food, breakfast, lunch and dinner. You know, for me, I'll come and you know, interview you guys.
We'll make that plug for you.
Thank you.
So we have that bird banding exercise on the 29th of April. And following that would be one of the guided tours through the Main Ridge Forest Reserve, some of the various trails that we have at the Main Ridge, just to raise some awareness for our policymakers, the decision makers and the stakeholders. Following the 29th of April and our bird banding and Main Ridge tour, we have the gala events, meaning on the 30th of April from 9 a.m. we have the time capsule parade and ceremony. So I will allow Barry to speak a bit more on the time capsule.
Now, this aspect here is the most exciting for me. This time capsule.
Is it that, guys, before you even... This gentleman, Mr. Lovis, is a singer. So I'm waiting to see if he's going to be singing at this event. Please proceed.
Well, that's an interesting notion. Right? You'll see. Right? But the time capsule. Now, I want to talk about two aspects of it. The date itself, as Kelly would have mentioned, well, it starts at 9. Now, and it's happening at the Main Ridge Orientation Center. That's the focal point of it. It'll be a procession, which will start a little ways down, maybe by the weather station. And we're hoping to have persons, military or paramilitary persons in a platoon of 25 persons. And there'll be a whole nice choreographed event, right? We'll have past foresters who will hand across the time capsule already with its contents to current stewards of the rainforest, right? Current stewards will pass it on to future stewards, and then we put it in its resting place. It will be a display case that will be permanently at the center. You can go and view it. Tourists can come and see it. But what is most exciting about it, your information can be in that canister, right? Because what we have going, it has already started. We have a countdown. There's a registry on the website which will
Post.
Get your pens out so you can take it when we mention it, or I think they will put it up on the screen. That website, you can go there and actually register a message to the future.
Okay.
That canister will be unsealed in the year 2076, 50 years from now. Right? How old would you be then? Maybe with grandchildren and so on.
Don't say that now. But I'll be 30-something.
Right? Okay.
30-something. I mean, it
That's
is
some
something.
kind of wonderful math.
It is something.
Right?
It is something. I'll be
Right.
80-something.
So you probably have grandchildren and so on.
Yeah.
So you want to send a message to them.
Yes.
Because it will be unsealed at that time. Right? Now, the capsule will have other things in it, including there are those who might want to send a physical message. Right? Well, I should say the registry is a digital message. You fill out a form and you put the message. That now will be captured. You could upload one photo, right, and describe what the photo is. That information will be organized digitally and stored on an archival disk, an M-disk it's called, within the time capsule, right? Now, if you want a physical message, you want to write a physical handwritten note, there's opportunity for that as well.
Okay.
You go by Tobago Reforestation and speak with Kelly. And she'll give you what is called archival paper and an archival pen, especially, for that purpose. And you write your message, and you put that in the capsule. Just a meager cost of $25.
That's very good. It's very meager.
Meager cost of $25.
So not 25 US, right? TT.
No, TT. Well, that's an idea.
That's a very good idea.
25 US. Yeah. Kelly, you might want to consider that.
We'll stick with the 25.
For now, yes, for now.
Right? So in fact, that's my main purpose here this morning, to tell which camera should I look at. This one? Folks, go to the Kelly, let me see if I remember the website offhand. www.250mainridge.titl.tt. And if they can put it up on the screen, better yet. We want this to go viral. Anybody, anywhere in the world can go to the website and register a message to the future. There are some prompts there as to what you can say, what you want to tell to whoever in the future, right? So we'll screen the messages, we'll put them on that disk, and you can be part. That's a way, the major way, that the public can participate in this historic event next week. Now, I should mention, that window of opportunity is open for 250 hours. That 250 hours began at 2 o'clock on Saturday. So it's already running. In fact, I think today is day 6. Though I know we like to wait on last minute. Don't wait on last minute. Right? Send your message, think about it, type it up, send it, tell a friend, put it on your status, send a friend that, get in on this event.
Yeah, so guys, we want to thank you for joining us this morning. But just quickly for our viewers, let me just rehash quickly the dates and events taking place. Monday the 27th of April, the opening ceremony and judging of the school mural competition. It's happening at the Mainridge Orientation Center from 9 a.m. to 12 noon. Tuesday 28th of April, the school reenactment of the 1776 debate happening at Assembly Legislature, which is at Gillingham Street, Uptown, Scarborough, Tobago, happening from 8 a.m. to 12 noon. And Wednesday, the 29th of April, the bird banding exhibition and guided tour happening at the Mainridge Forest Reserve, commencing 7 a.m. ending 12 noon. And finally, Thursday, the 30th of April, the time capsule cultural parade and unveiling of the 1776 ordnance replica happening at the Mainridge Orientation Center at 8 a.m. to 12 noon. And they also have the Mainridge 250 Awards Ceremony and Gala happening at Shore Park Cultural Complex at 7 p.m. To 9 p.m. Please be there.
Yes. Well, we didn't say much about the gala. Somebody else will come and talk more about it. But that too, we're honoring 25 persons who have contributed.
Would I be there? I'm wearing green though.
Yes.
I'm also pro Tobago.
We wait and see.
All right, good.
We need something, as a surprise.
Yes. Thank you very much. So guys, this brings us to the end of this update this morning. I want to thank you for joining us, and thank you for coming and sharing in this great
pleasure.
Event. 250 years is quite a long time. So just remember to share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
Our world is filled with rhythm. Rhythm that's unapologetic, infectious, timeless. Rhythm is commitment in action. It's how we show up for each other with unrelenting support that goes the distance. Rhythm lives in the tiny beats of our most intimate moments and the seismic roars of our biggest achievements. Rhythm is resilience in motion. So even when things go out of sync, we do what it takes to bring the rhythm back. At Flow, we understand your rhythm because we live it. That's why we're dedicated to building a network as resilient as you, with a team of familiar faces working every day to keep you on beat. You're at the heart of everything we do, and our commitment is to keep your rhythm flowing, no matter what.
Sofa Factory is here in Tobago. Conveniently located Montessori Drive, Glen Road, Scarborough. Up to 20% off on select sofas for customization. Deals on some sofas from as low as $4,000 until stocks last. 10% off on all wardrobes. Half off on shower heads with the purchase of a vanity set. Come in and experience the new way to shop for furniture and see the quality in person.
Are you in a dispute with a registered investment service provider of the TTSEC? Or maybe you're the victim of an investment scam? You can lodge a complaint or submit an anonymous tip to the Trinidad and Tobago Securities and Exchange Commission. Download our Investor Protection app or go to ttsec.org.tt to access our complaint form or submit an anonymous tip. Write a clear summary of your complaint. Submit copies of supporting documents along with the originals for verification. Provide a copy of the feedback received from the entity regarding your complaint. All investor complaints or scam reports submitted by the public are acknowledged and reviewed by the TTSEC. Investigations are pursued based on the outcome of the review. Trinidad and Tobago Securities and Exchange Commission, protecting the interests of investors and the public. You invest, we protect. Everyone benefits.
Trinidad is my home, and I always say charity begins at home. So I'm just delighted to bring this team of dedicated volunteers. Part of our motto is that we just don't send relief. We hand deliver it with care and compassion. And as I would always tell my team, the best way to find oneself is to lose oneself in the service of others.
Be viewing Caribbean Medical TV on this station.
Welcome to Tobago Glass Supplies Limited, where innovation meets excellence and the service reigns supreme. Our commitment is simple: to provide high-quality, innovative aluminum, vinyl and glass solutions for both commercial and residential spaces. At TGSL, we don't just meet needs, we exceed expectations. Our range includes the finest aluminum cladding options, setting new standards in durability and style. Driven by our passion to elevate, we aim to be the leading supplier in the Caribbean market while retaining our identity as a family-owned business. Because at Tobago Glass Supplies Limited, it's not just about products. It's about relationships, it's about you. Innovation, quality, service. That's Tobago Glass Supplies Limited.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning again, viewers, and welcome back to the Tobago Updates Morning Show. It's Youth Wednesdays, and joining me this morning is Brother Paulos. He is an evangelist of the Archdiocese of the Caribbean and Latin America of the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, as well as Mr. Haile Selassie Joseph, and he is the parish secretary for the Tobago Church. Good morning, gentlemen, and welcome to Tobago Updates.
Good morning, Ms. St. John. Thank you so much for having us, and also thank the management of Tobago Updates for having us.
Oh, a pleasure. So this morning you're here to discuss with us the 60th anniversary of His Imperial Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie, his visit to Trinidad and Tobago.
Yes.
For the young viewers and for members of the public who generally may not be educated, tell us, who was the emperor and why was this visit of such importance?
Thank you so much. So His Imperial Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie the First. So the I is the Roman numeral, which is really the first. First, because he was the first emperor out of the line of the tribe of Judah, coming from the Solomonic dynasty. When Queen of Sheba visited King Solomon, they had a marriage whereby the Israel nation and the Cushite Ethiopian nation tied their bonds in terms of spirituality and also economic trade. And so, due to that union between King Solomon and Queen of Sheba, there was the son called Menelik I. And from Menelik I being the emperor of Ethiopia and the Cushite Empire, he was the first, and then Emperor Selassie was the 225th. Okay. So there was a straight line of that dynasty, unbroken, from since 3,000 years at the time of King Solomon to present. Emperor Selassie I was also a very important figure in Christendom. He was the defender of the Christian faith. He was also an important figure in geopolitics because he was the one who established what was then called the Organization of African Union, which is now called the African Union. And he also established a lot of new developments in Ethiopia as an empire. And so, really important to note that Marcus Garvey mentioned about the crowning of the emperor, Emperor Selassie I. And that is how we in the West, as persons of African descent, became knowledgeable about Ethiopia and Emperor Selassie. And so he came here on the 20th of April, 1966 to Tobago. Well, how it happened is that he came, one, to Jamaica, then to Barbados, then to Trinidad and Tobago. But when he landed in Trinidad, he asked the then Prime Minister, Eric Williams, to visit Tobago. As a matter of fact, we have a photo that shows when he landed at the airport, and Eric Williams was introducing him to N.R. Robinson.
Okay. So the emperor's visit in 1966,
Yes.
according to national records of Trinidad and Tobago, drew the largest crowd seen at the Piarco International
Yes.
Airport
Yes.
since the visit of Princess Margaret in 1955.
That's correct.
Either of you can answer. Why do you think his visit warranted such a reaction and drew such a crowd? Why was it of such importance to the people and the masses of Trinidad and Tobago?
Okay, thank you for such a wonderful question. I'll start by actually elaborating on the importance of the Ethiopian Orthodox Tewahedo Church, because that was his mandate, to be the defender of the faith. And the Ethiopian Orthodox Tewahedo Church is the oldest Christian church in the world, tracing its roots back to the time of the apostles. And it has preserved an ancient form of Christianity centered in the unity of Christ. And as the defender of the faith, His Imperial Majesty carried that spirit with him, because the name Haile Selassie actually means the power of the Trinity. So wherever he moves with the Spirit of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. So naturally, by the grace of God, wherever His Imperial Majesty went, he has always moved people with him, because he moved with the spirit of his Christian God. All right, so that would explain particularly his significance of being able to draw people, because naturally he has the power of the Almighty moving with him naturally.
Yes. And that's very important, because a lot of people in the West, as you know, through colonialism, we only knew about the English monarchy. But when we heard about our own monarchy, a monarchy that is even longer than that of the English Empire, that colonialized us and was involved in slavery, a lot of people drew to His Imperial Majesty. And also, as you all may know or may not aware, Ethiopia is the only country that has never been colonized in the whole of Africa, in the whole of the world. And it also defeated the colonialists who tried to invade it in the Battle of Adwa. So it's all of that history that came around His Imperial Majesty, and a lot of people were conscious in those days, and that's where they came out to see him.
So as you speak about defending the legacy and how His Imperial Majesty worked towards defending the faith, I am sure that preserving the history and the legacy of such an occasion is paramount.
Yes.
What was or is being done this year to commemorate the 60th anniversary?
All right, certainly. As the Secretary, I'd like to announce that the Ethiopian Orthodox Tewahedo Church will be participating in the Tobago Heritage Festival, and it'll be our first time participating in the festival, and we'll be presenting and displaying the elaborate and diverse culture of Ethiopia. All right, so to the Tobago Heritage Festival, we pray that you'll welcome us with open arms, right, to be able to display and educate particularly people of Tobago about the truth of Ethiopia and us coming to Tobago.
Right, so as a lover of culture and heritage myself, I can promise that I will be there, because it's all about education and preserving the history.
Thank you.
And as we speak about history, history is currently taught in Tobago's secondary schools, but not necessarily Tobago's history. It's more a broader focus on Caribbean history.
Yes.
With the emergence and talks of what we call the Tobago-centric curriculum here on the islands, because for viewers who may not know, Brother Paulus is from
St. Kitts and Nevis.
St. Kitts and Nevis.
Yes.
So we currently have history programs in school, and there are talks of implementing a Tobago-centric curriculum. I'm sure both of you would argue and agree that teaching events that are significant to the country's local history, such as the Emperor's visit, is essential for preserving heritage and passing that knowledge to future generations.
Definitely.
So my question is, what are your thoughts and your proposals for the inclusion of Tobago-specific historical events being taught in our islands schools?
Now, this is important. For instance, we just had the interview before where you had the 250th anniversary in regards to the main ridge being the only long-standing preserved forestry range in the whole Western Hemisphere. That is historic. And it's also important to know the same thing with His Imperial Majesty. He only visited 3 countries in the English-speaking Caribbean. And out of the 3, well, I mean 3 in terms of Trinidad and Tobago, but if you really consider it, it's really 4. Because Tobago of itself, he asked to come here. He didn't just decide to stay over in Trinidad. He said he wanted to come here. And he laid the foundation stone, which we have a picture of as well, of the Holy Trinity Ethiopian Orthodox Church. So it's important to note that the people of Tobago, especially the young people, to be able to have a sense of pride and identity they need to know about their history. And that history is not just about how Tobago came into being and how it became a part of Trinidad and Tobago, but about all of the significant events that would have occurred from the time immemorial to this present time. And it's important to have it in the education system. So I must say, I must commend the THA and the secretary who is responsible for education to push that thrust, and I hope it comes to fruition.
We hope so as well. So focusing more on the work of the church,
yes.
What contribution do you believe the Ethiopian Orthodox Church makes to the community of faith, not just in Tobago, but across the Caribbean and Latin America?
Yes. So as the evangelist for the Ethiopian Orthodox Church in the Caribbean and Latin America, which is it's a unique archdiocese because we are separated by water. And so, and it's very vast, from all the way up to Bermuda, all the way down to Chile. But it's important to note that Trinidad and Tobago is the first country outside of Jerusalem and Ethiopia to have the Ethiopian Orthodox Church here in the Western Hemisphere. So that is also historic.
Yes,
so our role is to educate the masses, not only in Tobago, but also in the Caribbean and Latin America, about the importance of the church. So we have many denominations in Christianity, as we all know. We have the Roman Catholic Church, we have the Anglican Church, we have the Methodist Church, we have the Wesleyan Holiness Church, we have Baptist, Spiritual Baptist. All of those would have developed out of our spiritual and also colonial context. But now we have Christianity that has not changed for 2,000 years. That has been kept preserved in terms of its theology, in terms of its Christology, in terms of its practices, in terms of its culture. For instance, my gown. People look at me and say, well, why is that you're wearing white? And why is it you're wearing a gown? If you look at the icons or the pictures of Jesus Christ, that's how he dressed. Even with regards, you see a blue or a red across him. That's the same thing where some of the clergy will also wear that dress. So we are here to be able to educate and to edify another way of practicing your spirituality in the Christian faith. The Ethiopian Orthodox Church is one of the oldest Christian faiths in the whole of Christendom. Like I said, since in the time of Acts chapter 8, you still know of the Ethiopian eunuch, where the apostle and evangelist Saint Philip engaged him about Christ and about being baptized. He went back to the empire of Ethiopia under Queen Candace and evangelized about the Christian faith. So before that, Ethiopia was the only other country to worship God in accordance with the Judaic process, which was given by God to Moses. Besides Israel, only Ethiopia. And so from that to Christianity went unbroken throughout to this present time. So for Trinidad and Tobago, again, another important fact, for Tobago to be one of the few countries in the Western Hemisphere to have the Ethiopian Orthodox Church here, it shows the significance spiritually of Tobago and its people.
It does.
Yes.
During your response, you would have mentioned other denominations, the Roman Catholics, the Methodists, the Anglican, and they each have specific characteristics that make them identifiable and distinguishable. What are those unique practices that can help us identify what makes the Ethiopian Orthodox Church what it is?
Okay, certainly. What makes us identifiable is the fact that, well, mainly if you attend the church, you would, by presentation, you would see exactly the unchanged truth of the church. And everything that we do, from our prostrations to our prayers, right, it has literally, there's a communication between the priests, the deacons, and the congregation, whereby a service is not just done by a priest, it's done by the deacons as well as the congregation. So the congregation is part of the service, actively part of the service. And the service cannot be complete without the priests, the deacons, and the congregation. So it's basically a triune congregation, a triune service where the deacons, the priests, and the congregation literally participate in the service. And I would say that's probably the most unique thing about our church.
Another thing is important to note is that in each church of the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, on the altar, there is the replica of the Ark of the Covenant. So it's called the Tabot. Where there is no Tabot, there is no Ethiopian Orthodox Church. And as we may or may not know, people in Tobago may know, Ethiopia is a place that has presently the Ark of the Covenant. in Aksum, which is in the northern region of Ethiopia. And so God allowed the Ark of the Covenant to move from Israel and King Solomon to be brought to Ethiopia by his son, Emperor Menelik I. And it has kept throughout the worship of Ethiopia and the Ethiopian Orthodox Church. And that is why at the altar there is a replica of the Tabot, which is the Ark of the Covenant. That in itself is a uniqueness that has never been and will never be duplicated in any other church.
Right. So my last question, as we seek to close off this interview, are there any other events that the Tobago Ethiopian Orthodox Church is hosting that the public should know of or is invited to?
Yes, certainly. Today, we actually having a lecture at the church, which is in Darrell Spring at 6 p.m. today, at Darrell Spring at 6 p.m. today. We'll have a lecture regarding the commemorating the visit of His Imperial Majesty, the 60th anniversary, a history of the church, and the importance and the significance of the Ethiopian Orthodox Tobago Church in the Tobago space. Right, on Thursday, tomorrow the 23rd, we'll have a divine service to commemorate the 60th anniversary as well. That'll be at 6 p.m. So tomorrow, Thursday the 23rd, at 6 p.m. at the same Darrell Spring Ethiopian Orthodox Tobago Church, we'll have a divine service. And as well on Sundays, as every Sunday at 9 a.m., we have our Thanksgiving service.
Okay.
And all are invited.
All are invited. A lot is in store. Gentlemen, I want to thank you very much for joining us on Tobago Updates this morning. Thank you for taking the time to educate us, and we appreciate it very much. It was a pleasure having you.
Well, let me first say I must thank you. I mean, you have done an incredible job today.
Thank you.
You have made us feel welcome. You have asked the correct and right questions. I think a lot of people are informed today about the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, and I thank you for doing that for us.
You are very welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you kindly.
Viewers, this brings us to the end of Youth Wednesdays on Tobago Updates, and although Dwayne and I are sad to leave you, that's not all we have in store. So we encourage you to stay tuned to Tobago Updates as we head over to Good Morning Tobago with Chanel Felix.
The Department of Labour work is primarily stable industrial relations climate. That's primarily it. But our work, when it comes to the workforce, is overall. What are the problems in productivity and how can we increase it and make it better for Tobago? The issues of absenteeism, how it affects us, how it affects productivity, how it affects finance, how it affects personnel, and ways and reasons to help in bettering it.
We talked about absenteeism, and we said we had to reframe the way we look at absenteeism, because we put these control mechanisms, we put policies in place, we do progressive discipline, because we want people to not be absent and we want them to show up to work. But we have traditionally been doing that by trying to control them. Yeah? So we say, let's shift that, let's reframe it, and let us try a culture of engagement where we create an environment where people want to come to work.
One of the things is that sometimes people don't understand what their work is all about, right? They will come to work and the focus was trying to get a job. During the presentation, I asked the different groups, each table, to come up with 3 strategies from their point of view that can improve productivity in Tobago. So one of the takeaways is that for each group we get, and there were 9 groups, right? So you get 9 by 3, 27. Although sometimes people may have reproduced some of these same ones before. But at the end of the day, what we got were ideas on how productivity can be increased in Tobago
we truly learned a lot, saw things from a lot of different perspectives and things that you could actually, at this stage, you're actually excited to try to implement.
This is good information, I'm not saying no, but I mean, it's things we could look at for your immediate staff and stuff, but I think this program is should have been like for heads, administrators, and so that they could put things in place for the staff.
I look forward to having more of these forums because to me, having a seminar that is concise and to the point, and it meets the needs of the organizations throughout the THA, I think it was a necessary event.
I hope that the persons who are here, they actually take the message back to the departments and we make it something and we make it a thing. But more importantly, I think that the ones who are here are responsible enough to know how the absenteeism affects the workplace. So the persons who are actually guilty, I'd like for them to be here.
The Department of Labour doors are always open. You can come to us and we'll provide you with as much information as possible.
That was a production of the Department of Information, Office of the Chief Secretary, Tobago House of Assembly.
You're viewing Tobago Updates Television, your exclusive gateway to Tobago, broadcasting the beauty of this island paradise to the world.
Tobago right here on Tobago Updates. I am your host, Chanel Felix. And ladies and gentlemen, you know, whenever you see me sitting here, it's because we're about to have those conversations that you want to have while I ask those questions that you want asked. But before we get into this morning's interesting topics and conversations, let's have our news in 90 seconds. Tobago-based airport employee Natasha Charles has secured a significant legal win against the airport authority. High Court Justice June Charles ruled yesterday that the authority breached the rules of natural justice by suspending Ms. Charles and conducting investigations without giving her a fair chance to respond. The court has ordered that her suspension be squashed, all investigations must cease immediately, and the matter be expunged from her employee record. Represented by Martin George and Company, the ruling enforces that procedural fairness is non-negotiable for administrative bodies. Additionally, it's an early day for students across Tobago and Trinidad. Schools are being dismissed early today, Wednesday, April 22nd, to facilitate tutor staff representative elections. Teachers will be casting their votes, attending meetings to finalize the results. Parents are urged to make the necessary arrangements for children's pickup, as most institutions are expected to close their gates by midday to allow for the democratic process within the teaching fraternity. And finally, Rand Credit Union 2026 Annual General Meeting is scheduled for Saturday, April 25th, at 1 p.m. with a hybrid meeting being instituted. Tobago members can attend in person at the Shore Park Cultural Complex, while host location remains in Trinidad. For those preferring to stay home, the meeting will also be accessible via Zoom, so members are asked to check their official RAN Credit Union communication for registration details. And that was our news in 90 seconds. Ladies and gentlemen, this morning we jump straight ahead into our conversation. And with me this morning in studio, we have a man that is no stranger to us here on Tobago Updates. I have with me this morning Mr. Jerry McFarlane, who is a businessman, hotelier, former assemblyman, Tobago House of Assembly, and just all-round interested Tobagonian who is always, accessible to have these conversations as it pertains to Tobago's overall development. And this morning we're touching on a number of topics, but we want to start off with some areas as it pertains to domestic tourism. We know that for a long time there has been a reduced number of international tourists coming to Tobago, and that the Tobago tourism sector has hinged on domestic tourism. And for a number of business persons, students, and the average Tobagonian, they are accustomed to that usual back and forth between the two islands on a regular basis. But recently we heard of some adjustments being made at the Piarco International Airport, whereby the domestic terminal would be moved from downstairs, where it's usually accessed, to now having a central terminal system, whereby all travelers, whether domestic or international, will now be expected to go through what we previously knew to be the international gates. Good morning again and welcome.
Good morning. A pleasure to be here as usual, especially to have you doing the hosting. It's always a pleasure. First, I just want to say, with respect to the tourism on the island, I don't see how that decision taken by the airport authority will bring any significant benefits or much benefits at all. I see it as cause some more inconvenience. You'll have to be in longer lines, although they talk about streamlining and having additional areas for security and enhanced security. That means more rigorous, I suppose, security practices. We know what happens, so sometimes we have to take off almost all our clothes when we go through international gates. So if you put in the local or domestic sector to go through that system. To me, I feel there's a lot of inconvenience and unnecessary routine checks and that sort of thing. I'm not saying that you want not to be checked, but the rigorous checking system that is applied to international travelers, I don't think that should be applied to the local travelers.
Right. And one may also look at it as inconvenience being a price for overall development. And as we move towards a situation whereby we say that we want to match international standards, we say that we want to be globally competitive, but then you look at what those that are best in the world are doing, or what the international standard for especially international airports are, and you notice that this is a regular practice for international airports, that there's one security entryway, but there are multiple gates. And sometimes the gates for domestic travel can be even further away from where the international gates are. Sometimes it can be closer. And that has been my experience, I believe, traveling in Gatwick, using their domestic terminals to maybe go to...
And in that on one consistent gate.
Right, exactly. And it's always moving, right? But you have one central security system. So can we as a society look at it as the trade-off to be internationally competitive?
To me, I don't honestly see it that way. And it's just interesting to see how the Airports Authority has put the thing like if it's such a benefit to the domestic traveler, and I don't agree with it at all. And to me, quite frankly, I feel it's just a business decision they've made, so that the airport, because I know of persons who have applied for that space and who most likely will get that space where the local travelers are located. And so it's more or less a business decision. Share the Tobago people upstairs, and then you could get more than 100,000 a month for that place where they are at the airport. We're looking at the airport standards and rates for rental inside there that the consumers pay, that the business people pay.
Understood. But even looking at the economic benefit of utilizing that one central international security terminal area, we look at it duty free. Now we have duty paid, and persons being able to actually access the shopping while traveling between Trinidad and Tobago. For some persons, there are benefits to that. They have access to a number of items that they probably would not have on a daily basis when passing.
But you have to pay the duty. It's a duty-free environment, so you have to pay the duty. The domestic passengers will have to pay duty because they're not traveling internationally. So when they check your passport, you'll have to pay the duty. The duty on alcohol, for example, is more than 40%, I think. So that's a duty. So those prices, if you have to pay the duty, will approximately be about 40% more than the duty-free price that is being offered to the international passengers. So I see it as a business decision, quite honestly, and I feel that is the reasons why, and they're making it look like you have enhanced features or systems to deal with. I don't see that as something that we should.
One of the things that I see as being beneficial from having a central terminal system, especially when you travel internationally, when you come out from one gate, depending on where departures are located, you can easily get into the terminal again to do your stopover. Like if you are going to, for instance, persons that are coming in on an international flight that are going to Tobago, depending on where the departures are, after they go through immigration, if they are able to just go back up the steps, instead of having to exit through immigration and do that entire process and just go straight to the Tobago terminal, that makes life easy for international passengers.
Well, to some extent, yes, but for international passengers, but for the local passenger who want to get to Tobago or get to Trinidad, vice versa, to me, it's not any big thing. I don't see that as a big thing for the Tobago passengers. at all, Maybe it look easier and more convenient for the international passengers. And you have to bear in mind how long you'll have to wait.
Right.
I'm not seeing, if it's a cost-cutting measure, I'm not seeing that they're going to put up much more security scanners,
Right.
for people to go through, just for the Tobago people to go through.
That could be
The
a very
Tobago-
good idea to look at.
to look at,
those
but
scanners that are
if you have
specific
to line
domestic.
up, and in those lines, if you have 2 or 3 flights boarding at the same time on the ground in Piaco, and then you have to join the line and go through this line and join the others, take off your shoes and all this other thing, and I don't see it as being a big beneficial thing for that,
Yeah, but there is the argument that this is exactly how it's done internationally. And we have gotten used to it being a particular way, that when it is now being standardized, you hear people coming out and kicking up a fuss and say, well, that's an uncomfortable way of doing things, or I don't see how that could be convenient. But in the same breath, we are saying that, we want this development. We want to move towards a developed status as opposed to developing. And that in itself comes with some rigorous standards at times as it pertains to how we do security, particularly as it pertains to travel and immigration. And as we observe how the world is moving towards a one world system and a digitalized system, and we could see that trying to fit into that movement towards greater digitization.
Greater digitization, we can't get away from that. That is a must. We just have to go through that, and what AI is doing for this world, we just have to digitize as fast as we can.
Yeah.
But we have to understand, and I do see no problem in having to meet international standards. But what we know here in Piaco, if we see it and we get it, and it's very convenient, I'll be happy.
All right.
But knowing how things transact in this country, I'm not too confident that it's a better, more convenient system. I see it will cause some inconvenience. That is what I see from where I sit right now.
Understood. And I could understand where that perspective would come from. But personally, for me, sometimes it's a matter of what we're accustomed to. We get so comfortable with what we're used to that when something different comes up, whether it is for better or for worse, we are quick to say, well, why do we have to change? I'm so used to doing this. I'm so used to boarding downstairs. I'm accustomed to that. And in no time, it becomes a situation where it becomes the norm, because
long as it is convenient and it is easy to do and to pursue or to deal with, I think the passengers will be happy if it's more convenient. But if you're going to spend more time and you have to check in earlier, that is one of the comments they're making,
Right.
You have to check in much more earlier, because they're anticipating that you're tunneling these Tobago, the domestic passengers, into the line that is going on with 3 or 4 flights. How convenient is that?
Understood. We'll be going to take a quick break right here, and we'll be back after this with much more conversation on all that has been happening on the island of Tobago. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll take a quick break right here, and we'll be back after this. See you soon.
And hear me neighbor, 60,000 people strong, and the vibes is never wrong. We are beauty, we are power, we are people in the sun, we are beaches, we are rivers, we are melon.
Factory is here in Tobago. Conveniently located Montessori Drive, Glen Road, Scarborough. Up to 20% off on select sofas for customization. Deals on some sofas from as low as $4,000 until stocks last. 10% off on all wardrobes. Half off on shower heads with the purchase of a vanity set. Come in and experience the new way to shop for furniture and see the quality in person.
Trinidad is my home, and I always say charity begins at home. So I'm just delighted to bring this team of dedicated volunteers. Part of our motto is that we just don't send relief. We hand deliver it with care and compassion. And as I would always tell my team, the best way to find oneself is to lose oneself in the service of others.
Be viewing Caribbean Medical TV on this station.
Welcome back to Good Morning Tobago right here on Tobago Updates. Ladies and gentlemen, this morning I am chatting with Mr. Jerry McFarlane, who is no stranger to us here on Tobago Updates, sometimes a colleague, but this morning we are chatting to him in his capacity as a businessman, a hotelier, and a former assemblyman in the Tobago House of Assembly. There has been so many things happening over the past week, and as I said yesterday in my conversation with the former MP for Tobago, West Shamfa Kujol Lewis, we on the island of Tobago for a very long time has held the idea of them versus us and have kind of used that as a means to remove ourselves from feeling the brunt of the crime situation in the country. Because we are in Tobago, they are in Trinidad. That's not Tobago, that's happening in Trinidad. That's a they thing and not us. And we've separated ourselves from it, but it has come to a place where it can no longer be seen as that just happens in Trinidad. It's now, when you look at international news and you hear how our country is being portrayed to the rest of the world because of the type of things that are happening here, we can no longer sit in a place where we have this wall pulled over our eyes and thinking that we are safe and secure because we're on the island of Tobago. This is a Trinidad and Tobago problem that's erupting. We saw the killing of a woman police constable in San Fernando in the municipal police station that happened over the weekend, a quadruple murder, and a number of other things that seem to just be happening back to back to back. And then we have ministers and a police commissioner that comes and says, we should maintain a confidence in the TTPS. We should maintain that confidence. Where do we sit as a society, as Tobagonians, you know, when we look at how our country has been deteriorating pertaining to crime and violence?
We are in a very precarious situation here. And when I heard about the situation that took place in the municipality in San Fernando, I was very flabbergasted by this thing. I couldn't believe, you know, but these days, as people tell me, you know, you just have to expect anything in this country, you know, and we can't remove ourselves as Tobagonians from what is happening in Trinidad. We are part of the country, Trinidad and Tobago. And when a country like the US, not blacklist us, but listed as an unsafe place, or send these comments out that, it's not safe to go here, not safe to go here. The country of Trinidad and Tobago is being banned, it's been looked at, although there may be some places in Trinidad that definitely have a serious crime situation. So I'm concerned about that very much. And I have quite a few good friends in the police service, past and present. And, we talk all the time about the situation of the police service in Trinidad and Tobago. And you could hear about different things happening. Sometimes policemen trying their best. There are other policemen or defense force or different people doing other things, trying to belittle and prevent things from happening and so on, and people are trying their best, some of them trying their best in the police service, but like all services, especially in Trinidad and Tobago, there's the rogue element, and that is what we have to try to deal with. Some people might be next year going on a raid, and who knows, they may be part of this raid or this plan, or to let information come out about what they're going to do and where we will be at what time. You don't know. So sometimes the police themselves are placing their colleagues at risk, especially when you don't have confidence, or you're betraying the trust of your colleagues and the effort to fight crime. So people have to find a way to deal with that. Make the police service have more confidence in their own, and be more trustworthy in their own. How they can fight crime if it is suspected or people operating like we don't have to go there today also because some frivolous reason. You find some police might be absent on a raid or something. You have to watch all these things. And some people go into the raid with you and shooting down and whatnot, or making arrests, and maybe they're part of the thing. So we have to find some way of bringing some kind of reform or some confidence level or some trust within the service and build on that if we have to do anything serious. Could you imagine? I could have never imagined that would have happened. And where it appears, that this is an internal thing, internal betrayal, as the Prime Minister said, but it creates a serious situation of trust among the very police officers, and I could imagine, I talked to some former officers and some present officers about the situation, and they feel very uncomfortable, and I could understand how they feel. You could imagine you doing an operation and there's somebody within the ranks,
right,
or the group, actually trying to betray you at the same time, or putting your life at a risk while you're doing and dealing with criminals. So that is a situation, somehow we have to find a way to deal with that sort of situation. And I think that the police and the area that the division that takes care of looking at reports within the police service, that unit, have to take more time. I don't know if they should take more time, but place greater effort in when there are reports about police misbehavior in public and so on, or involved in criminal activities. These investigations have to find a way of expediting it and bringing the people to justice quickly. You get the feeling sometimes, that the police is slow sometimes in dealing with themselves or their colleagues. That matter had to be addressed. You can't be having an inquiry going on for years and years and years, especially where somebody's killed or somebody was badly treated, or even misbehavior in public office, where they could be charged for. Somebody have to take the thing by the horns and say, this enough is enough. Let us bring back some sanity and some confidence among the people, among the officers of the police service before full confidence of the public in the police service could take place.
Understood. And, even as it pertains to safety and security in places that should be secured, this incident took place in the municipal police station, but it seems as though there was no exit route. There was no way to sound an alarm for the female officer when she felt like her life was under threat. No CCTV, well, the CCTV footage was extracted, and obviously there's no evidence as it pertains to that.
Understand they will block some of the cameras.
Yeah. But what are the alternatives? Like, what are some of the things that can be put in place in the future to avoid this? It was said that 2 of the other officers who were on duty at the time were in the dormitories.
And 2, I don't want to make a big thing about that, but your point about how you could be alerted if something like that happened, I know of stations, sometimes you're out, you're working in the night or the night shift, as you will call it, and sometimes 1 or 2 persons up front, and maybe 2 officers take a rest, and then after a couple of hours, they come out and they take over and give you a chance to rest also. Or if there's an issue, everybody come out and try to get going with it. If there's a murder or some major thing in the district, you all have to find a way to get other people to assist you and that sort of thing. But we just have to get things organized in such a way, and we can't tell the police what to do. They should know more than us about trying to find ways in which they could identify something or how to prevent things from happening. To go into this strong room, or this like a ammunition vault, if you want to call it that, you have to have keys. I may have more than one lock. More than one person should be able to access it, and that is why it was so easy to identify and say, well, these are people who were apparently part of the station, or people who know about this thing and where it was and where the keys are and who have it, who on duty, who catching arrest. It just shows that they have to be more alert and more, I don't want to say circumspect, but more aware, more conscious of almost anything could happen. So they have to put systems in place to do double checks, how this vault will be open, who have to be present, and so on. There's a role also for all those persons who are at the station were constables or some junior person. Usually, you won't find an inspector overnight in any police station, or a sergeant, as far as I could recall, or the little I know about the police service. There need to be regular visits at night or early in the morning by some of these senior persons to see what is happening in the station. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised sometimes people go to the station and nobody wants to attend it. They tell them to go to the next station because maybe they want to sleep or they want to rest, or maybe they have a long night and they, we have to find a way in which the police can create systems, procedures and practices that you can access the vault. Alert people if something is happening. And that your cameras, as it could be done. Look how easy they cover the cameras. Cover all the cameras. They just had one camera from somewhere else. I can't remember if it's a neighbor next door or something that had CCTV cameras, I think, or one of the cameras in the station, from what I gather, was good. They could see that it's a selfie vehicle and thing with a covered number plate and that sort of thing. And they quickly went to the place where they have an idea where the person was and try to make some arrests. But you have to be more rigid and more stern, and create systems that will develop confidence among your peers, so that the public could have more confidence in the police service. And the public had to exercise some patience, and the public want to see response. There's a story that I was told recently that somebody reported to a police station that, listen, a man is being chopped, literally being chopped at my neighbor. They call the police say, well, they can't no transport now. If the person dead, we might just get some transport from somewhere else to go. You can't, the police can't be so callous in their response to the public. That can't be tolerated. You go to a police station, one incident, somebody told me that they went to pay for, what you call it, when people don't mind the children and they go to the courts. Maintenance. Somebody went to the police station apparently to pay the maintenance, which they was charged. I think the police or the courts, paid at the courts or somewhere, and they say they have no evidence of that, and they were given a receipt or something and whatnot, and they can't get the money, So all kind of things happen in which questions the integrity of the police service, and we have to try and deal with that. And you can't just say Like a lot of people say, well, you know, there's rogue elements all over the place and so on in the police service, in politics and whatever, in government, in ministries.
Yeah,
there's
we
rogue
can't
elements.
make it, you know.
Yeah, you just have to find ways of dealing with these things and put systems in place that people will have confidence in the service and make them more effective and make them people-centered. That is a term that I like to use, you know, when dealing with entities or public servants and so on. You must be people-centered. You must try to deal effectively with the people who you serve. They're paying you to serve these people. You know, police had a thing one time, they're saying, protect and serve with pride. That was so nice. But put it into action. Put it into practice. You protect and serve with pride. You want to include dignity and security with that, you know, or confidence with that, you know. But it tells you that how you must operate. People have ideas to do different things and how you could really improve the police service. You know, I know in the past they have problems with funding and so on, and business people used to try and repair vehicles and that sort of thing, you know. And sometimes when people feel, but listen, we repairing vehicles and the police and them mashing it up and there are no vehicles when they're ready to come and so on. Like this critical case I told you about, a man being chopped up, actually died. And you say you can't come when the man being chopped up, you know, and they're going to have to find the perpetrator now, you know, because you couldn't come at the same time for some other reason. Sometimes a vehicle is there, but they're just damn lazy.
Understood.
Yeah.
And we want to shift gears a bit and talk a bit about the situation as it pertains to what has happened in the Marine Park, particularly in Pigeon Point, with the jet ski incident and the death of the 7-year-old Angelica Jogi. Now, we've heard that a few days ago, the suspect that was in custody, being questioned, was released. And so we are still at a place where we are reeling from this situation, but wondering what is next? Where do we go next? How does this affect the confidence of the tourists that come to the island as it pertains to their safety and security when engaging with the beauty of the island? Things that we often tell persons, if you come to Tobago, you have to go to Pigeon Point or you have to experience this, that, or the other. How do we make that move towards ensuring that these things become safe? You know, even after the incident took place, there were videos circulating on social media of young guys riding jet skis close to the shoreline still, even after such a horrendous incident.
But they were banned from that area, the Buku Reef Marine Park area.
There were some guys still operating jet skis, you know. So how do we enforce
It's not that they can't
regulations?
operate jet skis, you know. They can't operate inside the marine park. You know, they could go to Mount Irving or some other place and operate, you know, and still they want them. They're looking at putting practices or legislation or rules in place how they should operate. And they know that. A lot of them know that. This thing is a kind of personal thing to me, you know. While I was in the assembly, one of my last positions was Secretary for the Environment, Agriculture and the Environment. And we saw at that time how much effort was placed in the marine areas and in protecting this marine area according to the Marine Areas and Enhancement Act. There's an act of parliament that say this area, this marine park area must be protected and is protected by law. You know, some of the following condition and clauses need to be enhanced since the Tobago House of Assembly, because that was enacted before the Tobago House of Assembly. And I think there's steps to do that right now as we speak. But Chanel, this place is lawless. Some of those jet skis are just lawless. I would say the majority of them. I can't say all. The jet skis operate in a very lawless environment. You can't correct them. You can't talk to them. So many reports I had. So many reports I made to police station about jet skis doing some real reckless things, taking passengers on them, going away, hiding with them, and so on. If you hear stories, some of them I don't even want to report here. But they have been operating very recklessly. Most of them. And you have to do something about that. You know, and that is one of the recommendations I made. Soon as the thing happened, I spoke to one of the political operatives. I said, this has to be done. You have to ban them to start with. But don't feel that they alone is the problem. There's a problem with the reef boat operators as well. You know, it is to see video going all over the world, a man running a next man with a cutlass on a boat to chop him on a boat with passengers. You know how I feel when a ship, the owner of a shipping company that bring tours here, the cruise ship, send a picture, a man on the boat and a gas tank covered down with a line covered down with a piece of cloth, you know, going to the engine on a reef boat and so on. When you talk to them, they very don't care about that. What's wrong with that? A few days before this incident, the Assemblyman Percy had a meeting with a number of us because we have interest in the Book Reef Trust. I'm part of the Book Reef Trust, and we have a serious interest in doing programs with these people on the reef, about the ecology, how important it is, how much money it can bring in, you know. So we're doing that for a number of years, more than 20-something years. We invited to this meeting with these operators and so on, and that meeting just went, to see how some of these people behave at that meeting, it's like if it's no big thing. And it demonstrates the level of lawlessness, you know, and they don't care. The people raise issue about how they dress and how they present themselves, and they say they're doing that for so long, that is no big thing, you know, how you dress and how you keep yourself, how you conduct yourself on the boat, giving these tours, and so on. And what is turning out to be the importance of these tours now is not just to see the ecology and understand the beauty of the place, but it's our parties. And you have parties with one set of alcohol and this kind of thing. All this is illegal stuff. And when you talk to them about it, they feel this, you know, it's nothing. We've been doing this thing for so long. And then the operation on no man's land and the kind of food and way it is done and that sort of thing, that is just unacceptable. The conditions is not hygienic and it's not in keeping with public health standards. You know, so we have to take a big look at the whole picture. And I've been on quite a few committees that, you know, made recommendations, you know, up to quite recently. We were on another committee to make recommendations about the thing. And well, they had election, and then some of the recommendations moved forward with the last administrations. And still there's so much work to be done. If we have to pay special attention and do what we can in this area, we can't have lawlessness going on non-stop. We have evidence, or people were even suggesting that some of these boats have guns and things on it, you know. Well, why we have to be behaving like that? Why we have to have so much thing and paying less attention to the value of this precious marine system, this marine park that is protected by law? It's not like going off a reef off Mount Irving, for example, where you have another reef, of course, but that is not protected. But you know, people should be so conscious of protecting and operating with certain standards for the Book Reef Marine Park, and we're not seeing that. And some of the perpetrators, apparently you don't need to talk to. In the beginning, we used to have training programs for the reef operators, giving them the correct name and the local names of the different corals and so on. Because sometimes there are scientists out there with you just going on the reef to hear how you're conducting yourself, you know, and correcting.
And to see if you're giving the accurate information.
Giving the accurate information. We have situations like that occurring. So we always have this program from time to time, training them of the value of it, and so on. We did a big study, I think, in 2006.
And finally, as we round up the discussion, Tobago is moving towards, you know, enhancing its tourism product. And we're saying that Tobago is now ripe for investment, especially as this new airport is about to be open. But with that comes the responsibility to enhance the service offering, to enhance the product that we are offering to the rest of the world. And even as you spoke, you touched a bit on that training. Where should the main investment be when it pertains to enhancing the service and the front-facing offering that persons interact with as soon as they get to the island, that leaves a lasting impression on their mind?
I think service and their first time interaction, it starts with when they come off the boat or when they come off the plane, what they see. You know, that first impression of how you greet them and so on. The tourists will be happy when you just come off the plane like you're by the airport and then somebody wrote you, rental, you want a taxi? You know, they're not happy about that. They want to go to a place where it's very organized and you go your taxi, you may order your taxi before or whatever, or you go, but to have people out there just hustling for a taxi and so on, that is not nice, or you want a bike to rent or something like that, you know, you go to different, the thing must be organized and the total environment. And I am saying, all these years that I think our environment, our precious, valuable environment, this year we're celebrating 150 years of the rainforest being a protected area, the oldest protected rainforest in the Western Hemisphere, and some people say it's in the world. The oldest protected rainforest in the Western Hemisphere. 150 years we're celebrating that, since it has been enacted by law as a protected area. And so we have to find ways in which we value all these situations, value these assets, these environmental assets that we have. The Book Reef Marine Park, the rainforest, the brain coral in Speyside, the largest brain coral we have seen for some time in many areas. We have the fifth highest bird density in the world with respect to density of birds in a particular square mile. So we are free to develop and have like birding conferences that pull so many hundreds of people to the island or the destination where you have the birding conference going on. That is something that we should really push. Understanding of fisheries and how the fish operate and that sort of thing, how the corals operate, to see what you call this bioluminescence. That is now a big thing. That people just going in the water and seeing different colors and seeing the bacteria and the different enzymes in the water doing different colors as they come close to the surface and so on. People value that kind of thing and will pay endless money. The Book Reef Trust has their program every summer with Season and Science, where we have a lot of young people. I can remember even some of the chief secretary, until Dennis was one of the students as a young student in school, passed through the Season and Science program, and up to now he talks about it, how valuable that thing was for his life. And so many people in the assembly working in different divisions. I see Barry Lovelace was here and other people, Kelly and a number of people take part in promoting this program all through the years.
Yes,
so we have to value our environment, and I think that is the way we have to push it.
That we all see the value.
Yeah.
And I think just a small point to reference, I believe it's 200 years that we're celebrating this year of being of the
200.
Yeah, of the rainforest.
250 then.
200, I believe it was 200 or either 250. Okay. I will double check it, but
I will double check it. I thought it was 150.
It's more than 150.
I
think it was 200, but we will get the numbers.
But the important thing is a major celebrating point. It's a major milestone, if you want to call it that, although we're talking about forests.
Yeah, exactly. And you made an excellent point about there has to be greater value being placed on what we have here in Tobago, and seeing it as being our offering to the world, and not just a way to make a side hustle. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick break right here, and we'll be back after this. See you soon.
People in the sun, we are beaches, we are rivers, we are melanated ones. We special and there is no denying. Tobago is number one. I am you and you are me. Together we're stronger.
Baby, when you whine on me. Somebody get the phone, go on the telephone. I get wet. I get wet. I get wet. I'm looking all through the party. I hope I find you there.
Welcome to Tobago Glass Supplies Limited, where innovation meets excellence and service reigns supreme. Our commitment is simple: to provide high-quality, innovative aluminum, vinyl, and glass solutions for both commercial and residential spaces. At TGSL, we don't just meet needs, we exceed expectations. Our range includes the finest aluminum cladding options, setting new standards in durability and style. Driven by our passion to elevate, we aim to be the leading supplier in the Caribbean market while retaining our identity as a family-owned business. Because at Tobago Glass Supplies Limited, it's not just about products. It's about relationships, it's about you. Innovation, quality, service. That's Tobago Glass Supplies Limited.
Sofa Factory is here in Tobago. Conveniently located Montessori Drive, Glen Road, Scarborough. Up to 20% off on select sofas for customization. Deals on some sofas from as low as $4,000 until stocks last. 10% off on all wardrobes. Half off on shower heads with the purchase of a vanity set. Come in and experience the new way to shop for furniture and see the quality in person.
Hi everyone, I'm Marissa Benin. Coming up, Jamaica, here we come. These women of vision are on a mission. Ride the waves and savor the flavor, otherwise known as spending quality time in Antigua and Barbuda. Fun times, plus the food that sets St. Kitts and Nevis apart, all available under one roof. Cue the entertainment and the food. It's Chinese Spring Festival time. It's all next on this station.
Trinidad, Tobago and abroad, your chance to drive away in a brand new SUV is still on. The BHS Centennial Raffle has been extended to Thursday 30th April 2026. And that's not all. Prizes include travel for two to Miami and Curacao, Tobago staycation, iPhones, computers, smart TVs and more. Tickets still only $100. Get yours at selected outlets or at islandetickets.com. Details at bishopstobago100.com/raffle.
Okay. 335, 336, 337, 338, 339.
Counting on your fingers again. No wonder you lose your business.
Grandpa, thanks for helping me start over.
You not lucky in business, you know. As a child, you tried to sell hog plum. That failed. As a teenager, you and your boyfriend tried to break into the jewelry business. But hey, where that boy end up?
He live in Aruka in the Grove. The golden one.
Oh, child, if you want to get into business, you have to have your financial records intact. But do you know your numbers?
Of course, 624-333.
No, child, your numbers, your ratios, your equity ratios. You have a financial handicap.
What?
You need to see somebody about that. Anderson.
Who?
Anderson in Trinidad and Tobago, they offer tax and accounting services. They know about financial management.
Grandpa, I started this business with nothing.
And nothing is what you will end up with unless you call Anderson Services. Here.
Okay, this card is nice.
Yeah.
What's this?
Your rental fee. Have business will pay rent. Hot and groovy in the soca party.
Good morning, Tobago, right here on Tobago Updates. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're just joining us, we've been having a number of conversations this morning, and we are about to jump into all that's happening with art. Yep, we're talking about the art exhibition that's coming up at the Signal Hill Secondary School. Talking about that this morning with Miss Janelle Carrington, who is the art and design teacher, as well as an art and design student from 6A, Mr. Dominic Williams. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning. Thanks for having us.
It's a pleasure to have you guys with us in studio here this morning. Tell us a bit about the art exhibition that's coming up on the 30th of April.
Well, the exhibition is happening. It's our 4th installation at the school, and it's going to encompass the art and design students, both lower and upper 6, and also some of the lower school students, as well as some alumni that we're going to be engaging. So we have close to 180 pieces.
Oh, wow.
That are going, one of our largest exhibitions to date, that are going to be on display, including Mr. Dominic Williams here, one of our top performing upper 6 students.
All right, Dominic, tell us a bit about your journey with art and what led you to the point of even choosing art and being what she has expressed to be one of the top students. Do you consider yourself to be a top student, and what would you say set you apart?
Yes, I would consider myself a top student, mostly because majority of my work has been influenced by a slight perfectionist nature. So it's kind of second nature for me to put that extra detail in. And art has been one of the most mentally grounding things in my life. So majority of my life experiences has been expressed through my art.
All right, and you see yourself going international with your art after Signal Hill Secondary, possibly pursuing your degree outside of Trinidad and Tobago at one of those internationally acclaimed art institutes. Have you already been looking?
Yes,
are you getting
I have.
assistance from Miss Carrington to get into the top schools?
So I am already enrolled at St. Thomas University. I am studying fashion design and marketing. So yes, this is one of the avenues I'm going through.
All right. Were you always drawn to art, and what type of environment has been facilitated at the school to really get you engaged to the level that you're at right now?
So over the years, I think art at Signal Hill Secondary has been developing vastly. So the art program has moved from a confined space to now a large room centered around helping not only the upper school students but the lower school students. And I think that's one of the main factors that pulled me towards actually doing art as a subject. The environment and how the teachers make sure to invest in your art journey.
Understood. So at Signal Hill Secondary School, you guys are preparing the next Picassos and Vanguards, and so let's Van Gogh. Let me just get it right, because with the
yes, I'm marking you here. Yes.
Yeah, and I'm just going to get the Van Gogh. Right? Correct. Tell us a bit about, why it's important to get the students engaged and having these art exhibitions, and would anything be on sale?
The role of the exhibition, the key role, is them being able to engage with the wider public. Oftentimes, students would create in a vacuum. They create at home, in the living room, or in the bedroom, or in the art room, and the work is not viewed by a wider public. They're not able to speak about their work. So at the Signal Hill Secondary, at our art program at the school, we don't just encourage them to create, but we encourage them to engage, because engaging is where the art takes on almost like a new life. And again, the challenge is not just allowing them to do well or assisting them in doing well at the CAPE level, but at the university level. They have to see themselves past the point of the walls of Signal Hill Secondary School. We try to encourage that. So the exhibition is just one step in that direction, and we've had so many good reviews over the years. When students prepare for the exhibition as opposed to just for the exam, they tend to take it on in a different light. We've been getting a lot of requests from parents and past students in terms of the purchase of art. So some of the pieces done by past students, for example, Mr. Kevin Weeks, a past student of the school, he's actually coming over with his posse from his art program after he finished his degree some years ago to exhibit some of his work, and some of those pieces may be on sale. So we want persons to come with their potential checkbooks and their transfers, because we're going to have past students on hand and also administrative staff to take the notes of that information, and then we will contact persons subsequent to. But the main, at the heart of the exhibition this year is what we've always been doing, engaging with the public, allowing persons to see what we have to offer. Because oftentimes at the school, one incident may go awry and it becomes the label of the school, but we want to always encourage persons that a lot of great things are happening at the school. And the principal that we have, the Miss Deborah Ford, is always trying to push all the positives and try to eradicate those things that may be perceived as negative.
Understood. And tell us a bit, you said, you know, there's a lot of push towards encouraging students to take their art beyond Signal Hill Secondary School. Is it that you're often engaged with recruiters or just showing the students channels that they can take in order to go to the next level with their art?
Excellent question. I love the question because it forces me as a teacher now to kind of think a little deeper. So yes, on one side of it is exposure. That's on the basic level. But in addition to the principal, administration has now taken a further step where they're actively allowing the children or engaging the children in visiting universities, applying to universities abroad. And we have, as teachers, have to now integrate with that vision. We have to be part of that vision where we don't see the students just being at Tobago excellent, which is, we've done that. We've done that over the years. We have had over 12 students are part of the art and design program, topping the merit list. From 2015 to up to last year, we had 3 students top 10ing in the Caribbean. So we've done that. So I think the next frontier is seeing the world as part of their next step, and they being able to see that as a place that they can conquer, even if they come from a small community of Bethel or a small community of Plymouth. That is not going to be their entire world. They can see the space of the world as places that they can conquer.
Right, and you said something that's integral. You said you had 3 students that topped the merit list. That in itself is a qualifier for a fully funded international scholarship.
Yes.
And so oftentimes when we, or parents hear international, they often think, well, I have not prepared financially for that. But there are avenues that can be, you know, sought to ensure that all students here get the best opportunities in the world as we aim to be globally competitive. And we have to get to the place where we stop teaching or communicating to our students that success is in the context or the confines of being the best in Trinidad and Tobago, but ultimately being the best in the world. Because what separates you from a student in Germany is nothing but exposure. And now we have at our fingertips technology whereby geography no longer restricts our ability to be the best or to be seen as the best.
Correct.
You have the Forbes 30 under 30 list touching, you know, young people, particularly in Nigeria, in the Caribbean, all over the world, and it means therefore that geography is no longer a restriction.
Correct.
What can we see coming out of Signal Hill moving forward as it pertains to the exploration and the expansion of art?
We are slowly but surely moving towards offering more digitally inclined subjects. For example, we are looking at expansions into digital media, into animation. Come next week, God's Life, we're going to launch an animated segment promoting the event done by one of our students, Kimari Daniel. So right now he's probably at home putting on the finishing touches because he created an animation solely to promote this event. We have students currently that are working as illustrators. That's their profession. They're working as animators. They're working as storyboarders. So this has been in train for quite some time. And we are seeing the fruits of it again being championed by the administration of the school, which is key. If I want to put in a plug here for my principal and administration, ensuring that they also buy into the vision that a teacher or teachers may have, and ensuring that that is facilitated not just by rhetoric, but by adding value with actual resources, expansion of rooms, as Dominic would have mentioned before, additional spaces, additional resources. So it keeps with, because it's one thing to top the list 1 year.
Right.
I want to put in a little bragging point here for our school, but to do it over a 10-year period, it shows that administration, teachers, cleaners, security staff, because sometimes we're there, some ungodly hours, fortunately, unfortunately, that's the nature of the creative time. And everybody has to be on board when it comes to, so this celebration next week, which it is a celebration not of just the art students, but of the parents, of the other stakeholders, the past students who would drop off a case of water for the students. All those things add to the experience of the art student, when they feel supported, I think it's the additional impetus they need to do what they need to do at the exam level.
Right. I can't remember the name of the studio down at Cove.
ePixel.
ePixel. Would they be invited to the event as
They
well? Are
have
they
been.
are they a partner on this
Yes, they
initiative?
have been, and because they have taken on board quite a few of our past students who have done well over the years. One of our standouts over the years should have been part of the process of conjuring up this year's exhibition ideas and work is Tabil Arthur. She's currently employed there, and so she's bringing her team. I said, bring everybody, all the empty the office and come up, and so let's see what the next stage of animators and illustrators have to offer, because we have quite a few extremely talented students, if I do say so myself, at the school that would have passed through the school, that we want to showcase what we have to offer.
Right, and this exhibition, again, it's happening at the school on April 30th. Remind us of the time that it's starting, how can the public gain access, what's the cover fee, if there is one. Tell us a bit about that.
So the event is supposed to begin at 4:30.
4 p.m.
4 p.m. Sorry. As far as I know, the event is completely free, correct?
Yes.
Yes, it is completely free. And you can just brush your security at the school, let them know you're here for the art exhibition, and walk in. You are free to view.
Excellent, excellent. And we look forward to that. And finally, as I close off, Ms. Carrington,
yes,
a number of parents who have always wanted their kids to succeed have had a narrow view of what a successful career or a successful pathway might look like. And, you know, they might think, well, I had in mind for you to be a surgeon, or I had in mind for you to be an engineer, or whatever it might be. I have never seen you to be an artist, or students who have not gotten that type of support. But I heard from a doctor recently who is a surgeon, Dr. Truesdale, who is a plastic surgeon, and he said that plastic surgery in itself is molding, it is art. And when you look at the architects, they are artists. You know, when you look at the way buildings are crafted, utilizing that modern approach, but yet having an artistic eye for how the visual should stand out, you know, with a particular backdrop, and how that the colors of the building and how it enhances the overall aesthetic of the environment. Engineering new solutions for cars, for whatever you could think of, new product launches. It requires design, marketing, graphics, you know, just overall, when you look at life, art is a part of all areas. As we close the discussion this morning, I want you to just take the time to remind parents and students that in every facet of life, that they can incorporate the art. You can also touch on this topic as well, into what the future could look like for them.
There was a particular quote I want to kind of place it here as a point of context. Mr. Moses, God rest his soul, used to teach mathematics at Math House, and he used to have this phrase, math is all around you. I want to piggyback on that and say art is all around us. So oftentimes I see products that are excellent that persons don't buy into, is because sometimes poor marketing, and we have some design flaws there. So I think if we incorporate art into our everyday existence, even within our Tobago space, even persons that make up committees that would plan events and plan initiatives, I think if we include a creative person, they're not necessarily a visual artist, but as you mentioned, engineers that have that kind of mindset, I think more initiatives would be a resounding success, because there is that understanding of design thinking process, which are things that they learn at the upper 6 and lower 6 level, empathizing with the end user first. So I would always encourage parents, not necessarily to be an artist, because the role of studying art in school, I want to underscore this, is not to be a painter 10 years from now. Oftentimes parents see that limiting view of visual arts. But as you said, we even have a student right now who is in law school in Barbados, Miss Abigail Powder. She would have top 10 a couple of years ago in art and design, and she's doing law. So she had to send her snippet because part of the exhibition is walking down Merritt Lane, showcasing those 12 persons who would have top 10 in the Caribbean across. So they can be part of the vision. So if a first former is walking down that passageway, they'll be like, that student looks like me. If they can do it, I can do it too. So as a teacher, once the spark is initiated, I think oftentimes we underestimate the students. They will catch on. Once they have that passion within themselves to do well, not be part of the negative, but be part of the positive, you'll be surprised. Once you support that vision, the rest they can handle because now they have access to knowing what careers are available. They can find their own universities. So it becomes incumbent on the parents now, speaking to parents, just to support that vision, and you'll be amazed how far the students can take that vision.
Understand, Mr. Williams. Tell us, as it pertains to seeing art in all aspects of life, why is it important for both students and parents to understand that art is integral to everything?
I want to begin by emphasizing on the fact that you said art is all around us. I want to encourage students to not limit themselves to quote-unquote base professions, because in everything there is a twist. You can specialize in many different areas. For instance, the medical field, there are many different aspects that you can incorporate art. Everything takes design. In the architectural field, there is design, there is art technology. So do not limit yourself to quote-unquote base professions. Find an area to specialize, because in everything, art is important. Art is integrated, and at some point you can use the design process. Even if it's not art related, you can use the design process to come about with a product.
Right, exactly. I like the fact that you said that, and we know we're now in the thick of the AI era where you're now using art to even train the AI. And so we look forward to seeing how technology is incorporated into how art evolves at the school, and to also see how other schools look at what you're doing and tailor their approach to successfully engaging with art and students in the future. Ladies and gentlemen, that is where we end of our discussion this morning, but I want to remind you that the art exhibition is taking place on the 30th of April at the Signal Hill Secondary School, and it is free, but you can definitely come down and possibly be prepared to buy a couple of the pieces from some of the artists that will be displaying there. You have students, past students, and it would be interesting to see. I think that we would see some top class or some world-class pieces at this exhibition that is happening. Ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank you so much for being a part of this morning's conversations. We want to thank you for your likes, your shares, and your comments, and all that you have been doing and continue to do to make Tobago Updates the #1 broadcaster here on the island of Tobago. Again, I am Chanel Felix, and have a great day.